The 6 shocking archaeological discoveries, so mysterious no one dared to believe they were real. Welcome back to Ancient History Channel. Dear friends, do you think UFOs or aliens are mysterious and terrifying? Oh no, if that's what you think, then you haven't seen the ancient world yet, because that world holds countless things discovered by archaeologists that will send even more chills down your spine. Some of them are right beneath our feet, buried under layers of rock, sand, and the dust of thousands of years of history, and when unearthed, they've left the scientific community completely stunned. Some of these things might even be inside your own home, and you'd have no idea. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Normally, when we think of scientists, we imagine rational minds, people who live by logic and can analyze and explain everything. But in truth, they have very human fears too. Nuclear war? Terrifying. Climate change? Scary. Asteroid impacts? Definitely a fear. But the one thing that keeps them up at night the most are the mysterious archaeological discoveries so baffling, they don't know whether to believe them or not. There are artifacts that were buried for thousands of years, and when uncovered, they feature shapes and technologies far beyond their time. There are even out-of-place skeletons and stone carvings that resemble no known civilization. And the most astonishing part? No current scientific theory can explain them. So what are they really? Traces of a lost civilization? Or could they be evidence that someone or something visited Earth long ago? The answers lie within the 6 discoveries we're about to reveal. Make sure to watch until the very end, because I bet the deeper we go, the more goosebumps you'll get. Now let's dive into the very first discovery. The tiny mummy that looks like a goblin sparks fierce debate in the scientific world. In June of 1934, during a gold mining expedition in the San Pedro Mountains of Wyoming, 2 miners accidentally uncovered a mystery that left the scientific community baffled. They discovered a small cave, deeply embedded in solid rock. As the dust settled inside the cave, something astonishing came into view. A skeleton. But not just any skeleton. It was an incredibly well-preserved mummy of a tiny human, later named Pedro by scientists. Can you believe it? This tiny old man measured only about 6.7 inches while sitting, and if standing upright, he would have been just around 14 inches tall, smaller than the palm of an adult hand. But the most puzzling part? Despite his miniature size, Pedro wasn't the mummy of a newborn. Preliminary analyses suggested he may have been a fully grown adult. It's worth noting that many Native American tribes have long passed down legends about tiny spirit people, often referred to as the Namaragar. These stories speak of small beings with magical powers and mysterious healing abilities, but also describe them as a fierce and warlike tribe that once attacked using poison-tipped arrows. So naturally, the question scientists immediately asked was, could Pedro have been one of them? In the search for answers, scientists and anthropologists flocked to study Pedro. His remains were found in a seated, cross-legged position on a small ledge inside the man-made cave. His bulging eyes, flattened skull, wrinkled brown skin, and a flat nose gave him the appearance of a tiny old man. His fingernails were still intact, and his head was coated with a thick, paste-like substance, identified as a type of preservative rarely seen in typical mummification processes. Of course, scientists didn't stop at external observation. They conducted X-ray scans to examine the mummy's internal structure and try to unlock its secrets. While some experts initially claimed Pedro was just the remains of an infant, others insisted he was an adult, possibly anywhere from 16 to 65 years old. The X-ray images revealed sharp teeth and even remnants of food in his stomach, possibly raw meat. That raised even more questions. Was Pedro some kind of predatory being? Even more disturbingly, signs of trauma on Pedro's body suggested a violent end. Broken bones, a damaged spine, and a crushed skull pointed to a brutal and painful death. This only deepened the mystery. If Pedro truly was a tiny human, then the story behind his death must be filled with untold secrets. Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some believe Pedro is evidence of a real-life goblin-like race, small beings just like those in Native American folklore. Others argue he could be a remnant of an alien species that once visited Earth. So who, or what, was Pedro? A historical mystery with no clear answer, or just a legend blown out of proportion? To this day, the question continues to fascinate scientists and explorers alike. But one thing's for sure, The tiny mummy known as Pedro has left an unforgettable mark on all who've heard the story of this mysterious little old man. What do you think about Pedro? Was he a real-life tiny human, or just a myth born from legend? As for me, no matter what the truth is, the idea that a human being that small could exist and develop into an adult remains something truly unbelievable. An ancient weapons cache, buried for 1,800 years, uncovers one of the bloodiest battles of the Roman Empire, right in the heart of France. Can you believe it? Right in the middle of a peaceful park, with lush green trees and children laughing and playing, in the city of Lyon, France, lies a hidden cache of ancient weapons, remnants of one of the most brutal civil wars in Roman history. Sounds unbelievable, right? But just recently, over 350 Roman-era artifacts were unearthed beneath the grounds of Clos de la Visitation Park, shocking archaeologists across the globe. And these weren't just ordinary items. Among the findings were arrowheads, shattered weapons, military gear, helmets, spear tips, swords, and even 2 bronze hooks, believed to have been used either to drag enemies off horseback or to pierce through armor. Even more chillingly, archaeologists also found a severed human head, a stark and haunting reminder of just how bloody the battle fought here must have been. According to experts, these remnants are believed to be from the Battle of Lyon, also known as the Battle of Lugdunum, which took place on February 19, 197 AD. You may not have heard of it, but once you know that it involved 2 massive Roman armies totaling around 300,000 soldiers, the scale becomes hard to ignore. Even more shocking, both sides were Roman. One army belonged to Emperor Septimius Severus, while the other was led by Clodius Albinus, a rebel with ambitions of seizing the throne. This wasn't just a massive confrontation, it was also one of the most savage. After Severus claimed victory, he ordered Albinus beheaded. His power was solidified, but rivers of blood had already been spilled. The weapons unearthed today are silent witnesses to that horrifying chapter of Roman history. The excavation site is believed to have once been a Roman military depot, a storage area for weapons and armor, or possibly even a gathering point for troops. It's the perfect location to uncover the remnants of this battle. But what lies beneath isn't just iron and bronze, it's a story of empire, betrayal, ambition, and power. What makes this excavation particularly remarkable is that it doesn't just stop at objects. It's opening up a deeper look into the military structure of ancient Rome, including camp design, troop organization, and the specific roles of different weapons. Each artifact holds a fragment of history. From a broken spear tip to a bronze hook, every item has a story waiting to be uncovered. Unfortunately, despite the enormous potential of the site, the research team has announced that they will pause excavation next year. The reason? Time is needed to analyze the entire collection, to determine exact dates, functions, and unique features of each item, and to begin publishing scholarly works based on this extraordinary discovery. You see, what sounds like a scene from a historical fantasy is actually real, right beneath the feet of the people of Lyon. Beneath this modern city lies the remains of a glorious yet blood-soaked era, gradually being brought to light, bit by bit, from beneath the dust of time. Wouldn't you get goosebumps if you were standing there, seeing these ancient weapons with your own eyes? I know I would. In fact, just hearing about it already gives me chills. 30 intact mummies, found in a 4,300-year-old tomb, beneath the Egyptian desert. When people think of ancient Egypt, they often imagine pyramids, mummies, and mysteries beyond modern understanding. But what you may not know is that just recently, a truly shocking archaeological discovery stunned the world. Experts uncovered 30 ancient mummies buried 36 feet beneath the desert, inside a tomb estimated to be 4,300 years old. And the most astonishing part? Every single mummy was completely intact, untouched, undamaged, and lying still as if they had just been placed there yesterday. The discovery was made to the west of the Step Pyramid, one of the oldest stone structures in the world, located in Saqqara, the ancient necropolis once reserved for Egypt's elite. The tomb dates back to the Old Kingdom period, specifically the 5th dynasty, which spanned from approximately 2494 to 2354 BCE. This was a time when the Egyptians had already reached a remarkable level of sophistication in both funerary practices and spiritual beliefs. Thanks to their advanced techniques, They left behind an archaeological treasure trove that has survived thousands of years nearly untouched. But that's not all. What truly gave archaeologists chills was the sealing structure of the limestone coffins. These sarcophagi were sealed with a special kind of mortar that preserved not only the bodies but the coffins themselves for over 4 millennia. Even more incredible, several wooden coffins were found in exceptionally well-preserved condition, completely unharmed by looters or natural decay. It's almost too strange to believe. Abdelhakim Karar, the archaeologist leading the excavation, said, "This is the first time in the history of Egyptian archaeology that a single tomb has been found containing 30 intact mummies. This number is extraordinary and incredibly valuable." And here's a detail that might really pique your curiosity. Unlike what we usually see in films or other ancient tombs, these mummies were not placed in coffins on the ground. Instead, they were carefully laid inside small wall niches carved directly into the tomb's interior, a layout never before documented in Egyptian tombs. Could this have been part of a special ritual? A unique preservation method? Or perhaps a sacred tradition meant to honor the dead in a different way? And you know, with each mummy, scientists don't just recover bones. They can uncover information about gender, age, health conditions, daily habits, religious beliefs, and burial customs of that era. Each mummy is a living fragment of history, telling us more about a civilization that once led the ancient world. Right now, the research team is preparing to begin detailed examinations of each mummy starting early next week. What they find could rewrite parts of history or reveal never-before-known secrets about ancient Egyptian spirituality, customs, and embalming mastery. And who knows, among those 30 mummies, there might be a high priest, a royal prince, or even someone who carried a secret powerful enough to change how we view ancient Egypt forever. Tombs like this, if not discovered in time, might be lost forever beneath the sand, taking their secrets with them, never to be told. Red giants discovered in a 3,000-year-old burial mound in northern Serbia. Have you ever wondered what kinds of ancient mysteries once existed on Earth? Mysteries that modern humans still can't explain? If not, let me tell you a story from northern Serbia, a quiet and humble region that just might be hiding some truly unexpected ancient secrets. Archaeologists recently opened up 2 massive prehistoric burial mounds, and what they discovered left everyone stunned. Gigantic human remains, completely different from the local people of that era. And what's even more remarkable is that their bones were bright red, as if they had just been painted yesterday. These weren't ordinary burial mounds. Built from elm wood, each mound measured up to 131 feet in diameter and stood 10 to 13 feet tall, monumental in size. Compared to the surrounding burial sites, these were truly the giants among ancient graves. According to researchers, the mounds were used for at least 2 separate burial periods, the first around 3,000 years ago and the second roughly 100 to 200 years later. But what really captivated the experts wasn't just the scale, it was the striking red color of the skeletal remains. This red pigment, known as ochre, was not random. Used in funerary rituals dating back as far as 5,000 years, red ochre symbolized power and sacredness. Covering the bodies in red earth was a profound sign of respect, intended to preserve something deeply spiritual and precious for the afterlife. In other words, if someone was buried in red ochre, it meant they held a high status in their community. The second shocking detail? The size of the individuals buried. These weren't average people of their time. The remains belonged to what archaeologists are now calling the red giants, individuals who stood over 5 feet 11 inches tall on average. That might not seem very tall today, but back then, the average person in that region was only about 5 feet 3 inches. This height difference led scientists to believe that these individuals were likely not native to the region, but rather immigrants from the Eastern European steppes. Dr. Piotr Włodarczak, one of the lead researchers, suggested that the combination of red ochre burial rituals and exceptional height likely indicates these individuals were part of a distinct elite group, highly respected and possibly of a completely different culture. Even more intriguing is that, despite their high status, very few grave goods were found in the tombs. There were no weapons, jewelry, or treasures, which raises several questions. Why would people of such apparent importance be buried without material wealth? Could this be a sign of a unique burial tradition, or are there other mysteries yet to be uncovered? While we don't have all the answers yet, One thing is clear. This isn't just a story about ancient bones. These red burial mounds in northern Serbia open a door into the rich tapestry of prehistoric cultural diversity, migration, and ritual. The mystery of the red giants remains unsolved, but it challenges us to rethink what we know about humanity's ancient past. So, what do you think? Could the red giants be evidence of a lost ancient civilization? Or were they simply migrants with unusual customs, bringing their own traditions into a new land? Leave your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about this fascinating discovery. A 2,600-year-old untouched tomb treasure reveals ancient life. Have you ever imagined an ancient tomb nearly 3,000 years old that remains completely intact, never disturbed or looted? It sounds like something out of a historical drama, but believe it or not, archaeologists in Italy have recently uncovered such a rare tomb, dating back 2,600 years. Discovered in the Caiolo Cemetery, located within the San Giuliano archaeological site about 30 miles north of Rome, this tomb dates to the late 7th century BCE, a period known as the Orientalizing phase in Italian history, when Eastern cultural influences began to seep into local life. This site is famous for several ancient tombs, such as the Queen's Tomb, the Deer Tomb, and the Bed Tomb, but none of these remain as well preserved as this newly excavated tomb. What makes this tomb a true treasure isn't just its age, but more importantly, its untouched condition. While over 500 other tombs at Caiolo have been excavated or looted over time, this tomb was like a time capsule, sealed and preserved, holding all its secrets and artifacts safe for thousands of years. When archaeologists gently removed the stone slab sealing the burial chamber's entrance, an ancient world suddenly appeared before their eyes. Countless exquisitely decorated ceramic vessels, still vibrant in color despite the millennia, were carefully arranged alongside bronze ornaments, positioned precisely where they had been placed long ago. These vessels and items were more than just everyday objects. They held ritual significance and were arranged in a highly deliberate order before the tomb was sealed, like a solemn farewell to the deceased. Especially striking was the discovery inside the chamber's left side, a bed where archaeologists found a basin and multiple bronze decorative items still in place, believed to have belonged to the tomb's occupant during their lifetime. It was as if the person had just lain down and everything remained undisturbed, honoring their life and death. This excavation was carried out under the strict supervision of the Viterbo and South Etruria Management Authority in collaboration with Baylor University, led by archaeologist Barbara Barbaro. Barbaro emphasized that finding such a perfectly preserved tomb is extremely rare and could truly be called an archaeological treasure. More than just preserving a tomb, she believes that in-depth study of this site will open new insights into the ancient world, how funerary rituals were organized, and through that, help us better understand the life, beliefs, and culture of a society from nearly 3,000 years ago. So you see, discoveries like this are not only important puzzle pieces in the historical picture, but also powerful reminders of the respect owed to the past. A tomb preserved for 2,600 years, still holding the treasure and story of a person and a civilization, truly awe-inspiring and inviting us to explore even further. Don't you agree? Perfectly preserved corpse in an 800-million-year-old marble sarcophagus confounds scientists. Back in 1969, while mining coal at a depth of more than 230 feet in a mine near the village of Rozhavchik Tsulskago in Russia's Kemerovo region, a miner named Karnaukov accidentally struck something he never expected: a finely carved marble sarcophagus. News spread quickly, and an archaeological team rushed to the site. The sarcophagus was brought to the surface and opened, but it wasn't easy. The edges had fossilized into a substance as hard as resin, forcing the excavation team to spend hours carefully prying off the lid. When the sarcophagus finally opened, everyone fell silent. Inside lay a strangely beautiful young woman, immersed in a pale pinkish-blue liquid. Her skin was fair with a rosy tint, her eyes tightly shut, hair gently curled, and nails neatly trimmed. She looked as if she had just fallen asleep, not like a corpse that had been dead for millions of years. What made the discovery even more astonishing was her clothing. A white lace dress with short embroidered sleeves, unlike anything from any known ancient culture. Resting on her head was a mysterious object, a black metal box shaped like a modern cell phone, about 10 inches long. The locals later called her the Tulski princess. For 10 to 15 hours after opening, the sarcophagus was displayed openly for villagers to see. Crowds gathered, stunned by the beauty and strangeness of this mysterious woman. But less than a day later, regional authorities sealed off the area, declaring it a contagion risk zone and forced residents to evacuate. Military helicopters were deployed, and the sarcophagus was urgently transported away, leaving hundreds bewildered. There's more. When experts tried to drain some of the liquid to lighten the load, her body immediately started turning black. They poured the liquid back in, and within minutes, her face regained its rosy, fresh appearance. To this day, the liquid's composition remains unknown, though it shares chemical properties similar to onions and garlic. Just 5 days later, a professor from the Novosibirsk Academy of Sciences made a preliminary announcement. The sarcophagus dates back 800 million years, which is even older than the coal seams surrounding it. According to him, this discovery could shatter Darwin's theory of evolution. While some speculate she might be an alien corpse, genetic analysis perfectly matches modern humans, meaning she was indeed human like us. Her existence raises a huge question. Could humans have lived on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago, even before the dinosaurs? If so, all theories about human origins, evolution, and every biology textbook would need rewriting. Although the full details remain unverified, the body, the liquid, the sarcophagus, and the mysterious cell phone have been taken for secret study. Whether you believe it or not, the story of the Tulski princess remains one of the greatest mysteries challenging human understanding. Did she come from a lost civilization, or from a time history has never recorded? That mystery, so far, has no clear answer. What about you? Which theory do you lean toward? Dear friends, that wraps up our journey exploring some of the most strange and unbelievable archaeological mysteries. The stories behind these 6 unusual discoveries truly amaze us and raise countless unanswered questions. When modern science still can't fully explain these mysteries, it means we still have much to learn about humanity's past and the world around us. These relics, remains, and artifacts aren't just pieces of history. They open secret doors to lost civilizations, strange creatures, and even things beyond imagination. Have you ever wondered if there are truths being hidden? Or if these discoveries might completely change how we view history and humanity? The world of archaeology is always full of surprises, and maybe it only takes one new find to turn everything upside down. If you find these mysteries as fascinating as we do, don't forget to leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Also, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our exciting future discoveries. For now, goodbye and see you next time.